Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Back 4 Blood. For the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Now, when I did the Back 4 Blood beta review a couple of months ago, there were a lot of things that I enjoyed, including the overall gameplay, the presentation of the campaign, and even the adaptation of Versus mode. But there were definitely some drawbacks when it came to the beta, including connectivity issues, including the decision to have a Versus mode that is more of a horde mode instead of the old style campaign versus mode that we have in the previous Left 4 Dead games. If you haven't checked out the beta review, a lot of the information about what is Back 4 Blood was in the beta review, but I will give a quick synopsis. The fact of the matter is, Back 4 Blood, which was developed by Turtle Rock Studios, the developers and the minds behind the original Left 4 Dead game, came back with a 4-player co-op shooter that takes place in the land where zombies have of course run amok, and the non-infected, the ones that are immune to being infected, go out in hopes of cleansing the areas. The gameplay is pretty much per the norm, as you've seen many times in these type of games, including the shooting, the availability of items, but the customization features, such as being able to add certain attachments to weapons, are things that definitely make this game unique compared to its predecessors. You can attach things like a scope to your rifle, but this all comes at a cost of a team-wide currency of copper that is collected when you go throughout certain areas. So it is up to you as the player to decide, should I think about the team first or should I think about my own inventory? You can pick up med kits, toolboxes that unlock certain doors, or even grenades and molotovs, but of course it could also come at a cost for the team itself. This also ties into the card system, something that also was in the beta that I talked about. The card system is built on the idea of collecting these cards either when you're just playing through a map or using the supply points that you gain for completing maps and games of swarm mode, that you can purchase these cards and make your own decks. Now, these cards can be beneficial to your characters as you play through both the campaign and swarm mode, as you can do things such as increase the amount of ammo the characters have on a team, or have an extra team life so you won't be down only twice and have to die. On the opposing side of things is the cards dished out by the game itself, and these are the corruption cards. You will get these per round as you progress through the campaign. That can be something of a challenge as well to earn more copper depending on if you're able to overcome these corruption cards. Certain corruption cards are definitely easier than the others. Like early in the campaign, you'll get a corruption card where you have to defeat the boss that spawns during the map. That's something you have to do anyway. But then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you'll have a corruption card that actually darkens the area, makes it harder to see. One thing that I will definitely note when it comes to this game compared to the beta is the fact that the full release is a lot harder when it comes to the campaign. I noticed the difficulty level, even on the easiest setting, to me is more amped up than it was in the beta. So this means for players who really want to advance to the higher difficulty levels, they will not only have to find a good team, but also have to have the best decks when it comes to the card system. Swarm mode is no different than it was in the beta. It is a PvP encounter where players will be able to team up to take on another set of players. One set of players will be the cleaners, the other set will be the infected, the special infected. And you're able to utilize the copper earned as you progress through the round to purchase upgrades for the infected, for the hordes that come after the cleaners. And of course, you're able to utilize the special abilities of the special infected that you choose to pick. But unlike the Versus campaign mode and the original Left 4 Dead games, this is a horde mode essentially, where the map that you're playing on gets smaller and smaller as the waves become more frequent. Depending on who you are, this will definitely be a disappointment, especially if you love the campaign versus in the Left 4 Dead games. Certain technical issues that were associated with the beta do return here, including of course stuttering, disconnects, and one of the biggest issues with swarm mode is the fact that the players that do drop out of a team are not replaced by bots. Unlike Left 4 Dead, where you would have a team where if you were down to just one player, you would have still 3 bots by your side. if a teammate drops out, you're down a player and it is not replaced. As per the norm with these games, when they first come out, connectivity issues will arise. You will be disconnected from matches, you will be disconnected from campaign missions, but one thing I will definitely give them credit for is the fact that if you can reconnect to the server pretty much immediately, you will be put right back into the same game that you were dropped out of. You may not be playing as the same character, unfortunately, because maybe someone else got that character while you were trying to get back into the game. But you will be able to jump back into the game that you were playing originally, which I think is a big help. There is the option for cross-platform play, but that to me was the biggest issue when it came to jittery, stuttering, and disconnected games. And while the customization options when it comes to the characters, you can actually add different outfits and gun skins, they really don't do much to really add to the gameplay. Overall, as I said when it came to the beta review, and this really hasn't changed in my opinion of the game, Back 4 Blood isn't Left 4 Dead 3. But for all of that being stated, it feels a lot like it. It's a lot harder though than the original Left 4 Dead games. The idea of switching from a campaign versus mode to a horde mode will definitely hurt the longevity of this game, but the campaign itself being so extended and being so difficult will keep players coming back for more, especially if they want to get to those higher difficulty levels. I also understand the technical issues, the connectivity problems that are usually associated with these games, especially after the first few months of release, will be fixed hopefully in the near future. But even with that, the major issues that do happen have been really helped by things like being able to jump right back into the game after you've been disconnected to the server, as well as the overall connectivity quality when you're playing with pretty much the same players on the same platform. If you enjoy the PvP aspect of just first-person shooters, if you enjoy the craziness of taking down these wild-looking zombies, and if you enjoy hopefully being a zombie yourself or being a ridden yourself and taking down other players, this is a great game to play, especially with it being on Game Pass for free. So if you have an Xbox, if you have a PC, you can play this for free. And if you have a PlayStation, I definitely say check it out. I wouldn't say purchase it right now. I would definitely give it a few months, let all the patches roll in. It's one of those games very similar to Left 4 Dead where the skill set will not be that different in terms of beginners and experts and people that have been playing for months. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again for another video game first impressions. Back 4 Blood for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Now if you don't mind, I have a gigantic horde coming my way, a big beast of an ogre also coming after me, and of course I'm planning on shooting it. But if it does slap me around, I guess I'll have no choice but to say, oh lordy.